in homeroom. All right. You had a chance to get started. So it looks like for this one, we are going to have 3 pieces for this equation. What is the first piece? Anybody get the first piece? First piece is an easy one, right? If your dog is 15 pounds and under, the groomer charges $25. Exactly. Yep. So it's going to cost $25. And that is if your dog weighs under 15 pounds. Excuse me, 15 pounds or under. So less than or equal to 15. All right, the next piece, if your dog weighs between 15 and up to 40 pounds, it'll be $40. So another constant function, it's going to cost $40 if your dog weighs between 15 and 40 pounds. And for the 40, that'll be less than or equal to. The 40 is included. If your dog weighs 40 pounds, it is going to cost $40. Okay, here is the tricky part. If your dog is over 40 pounds, you're charged $40 plus an additional $2 for each pound. This is the trickiest part right here. Did anybody come up with something for that part? That's what I thought at first too. Let's look at that. So is it $40 plus $2 per pound? Sounds like it, right? But this is where it's tricky. Okay, so it's not $2 for all pounds, right? Let's say your dog weighs 50 pounds. You're only paying the $2 for the extra pounds over 40. Does that make sense? So we're going to tweak this a little bit. Yep, I know. That's why it's tricky, and that's what I would think at first too. So let's see if we can come up with something that will work. So you're going to pay the $40 plus anything over 40 pounds is going to cost $2 per pound. So however much your dog weighs, let's say that's X minus 40. So you take off those first 40 pounds. Again, if your dog weighs 50 pounds, then you're going to pay for those extra 10 pounds. So 50 minus 40. And then however many extra pounds that is, you multiply by 2. Okay, so first you got to figure out how many extra pounds are you paying for over 40. So take what the dog weighs, subtract 40 pounds. That gives you the number of extra pounds, and then multiply that by 2. Okay, process that. Does that make sense? Okay, and I don't always understand things when people explain them to me, so you got to process it, right? Okay, then we're just going to clean this up. We're going to simplify it. Distribute the 2, 2x minus 80, and then combine those and we get 2x minus 40. So that is this third piece of the function. And this is if your dog weighs more than 40 pounds. Okay, let's check that. So once we come up with it, let's check it. So let's go ahead and jump down to part C. What would the groomer charge if your cute dog weighs 60 pounds? Okay, so without using this, just using what information they told us up here. If the dog weighs 60 pounds, how much should it cost? If we do the $40 plus an extra $2 for each additional pound. $40 plus 20 extra pounds. So you're going to pay $2 for this 20 extra pounds, 40 plus 40. So it should cost $80. Let's see if we get $80 when we plug that into our function. So 2 times 80 is 160. And 160 minus 40 is 80. So feeling pretty good about our equation. All right, the last part is to graph. And I don't have a lot of room here, so I'm going to make a little mini graph right over here. Okay, on the x-axis, we have the weight of the dog. And on the y-axis, we have the cost for grooming. All right. Do the same over here. That is a nice graph right there. Okay, and cost and weight. Okay, so starting with the first piece, if your dog weighs 15 pounds or less, it's going to cost $25. So let's go to 15 right here and go up to 25. It's going to be a close point because if your dog weighs 15 pounds, it is going to cost $25. And for anything less than that, 15 pounds or less, $25. All right, for the next part, let's do what we usually do when we're graphing these, and let's come up with the endpoints. So by plugging in 15, we get 1540. We're also going to plug in the 40, which is 4040. Remember how we use these x values and we plug them in to get endpoints. So 15 pounds, 40, that's not included because if it's 15 pounds, we already know it's going to cost $25. And then 4040, and that one is closed. 40 pounds, $40. And the last piece, let's plug in the 40 to get the end point for this last piece. All right, if we plug in a 40, we are going to get, let's see. Nope. Let's see. 2 times 40 is 80. Yep. 4040. Which means, look, these two are going to meet. They're going to connect right here at 4040. Okay, we need 2 points to graph a line. So let's come up with another point. How about 50? Or you know what? We already did 60. We could do 60, 80. We could do 50. Let's see, 100 minus 40. So 50, 60. 50 pounds, $60, right around here. And then it continues. All right, what do we think? Do we feel like we could do something like this on our common assessment on Thursday? Remember this tricky part in blue. Okay, and I'm going to change the wording here. $40 plus an additional $2. I'm going to say 40 plus $2 for each additional pound. So we got to figure out how many extra pounds, and then that's what we're going to multiply by 2. All right, well, you will see a word problem similar to this one on your common assessment. Yeah, that third piece, exactly. Yep. Understandable. Okay, so we talked about this a few minutes ago. So we're going to be reviewing these topics today to get ready for your common assessment, IA1 remediation, and then these topics from Unit 2 tomorrow during Enhanced Learning Day. There is an assignment today for our WIN session. It is 8 questions. Again, review, get us ready. Let's take a look. And I was thinking maybe we could go ahead and do one together. So the first 4, this goes way back to Unit 1, rational functions. Remember, graphing rational functions, holes, asymptotes, intercepts. So if we'll do one of these together. 5 and 6, evaluating piecewise functions. And then 7 and 8 looks like division, synthetic division. So these are your 8 problems that you're going to do for today's WIN session assignment. Yep, this is what you're turning in. And I will launch the module for you in just a second after we go over one of these together. Okay, so let's do number 2. Number 2, so when we're finding asymptotes and holes, we're going to start out by factoring. So help me factor the numerator and the denominator. What do we get? And I'm going to help you with number 2. And then when I share today's presentation with you,